Hello and welcome to an album a day, day 405. Going through, no, that's just looks weird today. I don't know. Anyway, 405, going through the vinyls, the CDs, all that stuff. Today we're going back to 1981 for a 45 that I have the album for, but I saw this for $1 and I thought, how do I not grab it for $1? It doesn't have the cover slip, it's just a generic one, but I'm talking about Buckner and Garcia, 1981. Pac-Man Fever. How do you not? I mean, it was $1. How do you not get it? I do have Do the Donkey Kong on my list, though, because I did get that as a Christmas present and forgot that I didn't add that to my list of albums to recollect, or my list of 45s to recollect. So that is on my list. I'm sure I'll find a nice version of this with a cover slip at some point, but for $1, you can't go wrong. And on the back, you get the instrumental version. This was not uncommon back in the day to have an instrumental version of the song on the back. Ghostbusters did that. I remember that. I'm blanking on other songs that did, but I know it was fairly common because we didn't have karaoke back then. That wasn't a thing, at least not as far as I was aware of. So the only way that you would get to sing these songs without the vocalist would be to get the instrumental version on 45. Sometimes there might have been like an EP or something special that would have had that as a release, like when they started doing the remix EPs and things like that. But for the most part, as far as I know, and I could very well be wrong on this, just thinking about what my knowledge is, was just on the 45. So it's kind of cool to have that. Typically, though, they would have backing vocal tracks, which is nice, so that you could do, the chorus would still sound like a chorus because you had the backing vocals and all that. If there were any like oohs and ahs during the verses or anything, you got those, which was really nice. So, and of course, you're getting the full quality mix. So very cool to have in my collection. Do the Donkey Kong, I think, was the only other single they released. There was another non-album game song that was released on 45, but I don't know why that wasn't part of the album. Maybe they didn't have enough room. Maybe that was why it was a 45, was because they didn't have enough room on the album. I don't know. What I do know is it's a fun song. I mean, it's just a fun song. And I think back to the old arcades, and you can experience this to a certain extent nowadays because they have the arcade bars and things like that. But when you walked into an arcade, it was neon lights, lots of just things that glowed, and just the sound of video games. No, bar sounds, no food, kitchen sounds, nothing like that. I mean, it was just audio overload. The games were just like all right next to each other, so they crammed every possible cubic inch of space there would be a game to play. And so the sound just merged from one game to another, and as you walked by a game, you would hear that game 2 games before it and 2 games after it, and then the games on the other side of the aisle. You can't see where I'm pointing, but it's the other side of the aisle. So it was just this crazy amount of sound. The only other thing I can equate that to is going to the NAMM show in Anaheim when I go to the musical instrument trade show in January, because there is just sound coming from everywhere, and it's audio overload, it is visual overload, it's a lot. It's a lot to take in. But I remember so distinctly the sound of arcades, and you get there's some accounts like on Instagram and stuff where they have their own arcades, and they do like walkthroughs of them and stuff, and the games will be on, so you can kind of get a certain sense of it, but without the physical experience of being there, having it in both ears, and just the motion of those sounds as you walk, the darkness with the light of the video games and the neon and everything everywhere. It was such an experience, and I really miss that. So I'm happy to have Pac-Man Fever in my collection. It's a great song, brings me right back to those days. Great album, and the album also has the chart of how to solve what the pattern is for some of the Pac-Man. I think it's the 9th key pattern. In any case, it's great stuff. We'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.